and welcome to another edition of Censored versus Sinkhole. I'm your host, Dan, aka smAsho. And the first thing I'd like to say is Milky Way Galaxy team for the win. Let's start talking about various things, basically whatever we want, such as our earlier video talking about space weather, things such as a large quake striking Turkey, Mauna Loa, ultra-slow solar wind, weather disasters, coronavirus, and more. Do you follow us on Instagram? Well, if not, you may not see stuff like this.
Oh my goodness, it's Prickly Pete.
It's Prickly Pete.
Prickly Pete, what are you doing in that pipe, Prickly Pete? What is up with that, Prickly Pete?
So anyway, check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/smAshomash. We're starting things out on this Censored versus Sinkhole video with a movie recommendation. Now, I love Adam Sandler. I love Andy Samberg, otherwise known as Pop Star, Never Stopping. And we'll be watching this tonight. Please pardon me while I close this out. And yeah, so here's some photos from IMDb about Never Stopping, Pop Star. And so if you've seen this one, leave a comment. Let us know what you think of it. It looks like it has an all-star cast, as we see Tim Meadows and Sarah Silverman. So pretty stoked about this one. And why are we talking about it? Well, it's because Taylor Swift has gotten into the news about being woke. Taylor Swift has apparently become woke. And thank goodness for that, because I was very concerned that she, with her hundreds of millions of dollars, would not be able to say whatever she wants, whenever she wants, to whomever she wants. But apparently, that's been a concern for Miss Swift, as she claims that she's been muzzled. Allegedly, throughout Taylor's whole career, label executives would just say, a nice girl doesn't force their opinions on people. A nice girl just smiles and waves and says thank you. So she became the person, allegedly, that everyone wanted her to be. Now, of course, she's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm pretty sure she could build her own record label in like a month, and everybody would buy the albums because she's Taylor Swift. But just saying. Anyway, we've linked to the Vanity Fair article here about the Netflix special coming out, Miss Americana Taylor Swift. And apparently she's going to like either endorse Donald Trump or not endorse Donald Trump, or endorse Bernie Sanders or endorse Hillary Clinton or Oprah Winfrey or Michelle Obama or Elizabeth Warren. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But thank goodness Taylor Swift has become woke, because we were really worried that Taylor, with her hundreds of millions of dollars, was muzzled. So way to go, Taylor Swift. Way to be on the right side of history. Let's see what she has to say as she decides to come out of the political closet. Let's talk about how Google's ads look too much like search results. I'm sure you've all seen this while using various different websites. Turns out Google's been devolving as well, as they're always making adjustments to their algorithms and everything else, and creating unobjective search results full of advertisements, and you never know if the result that you got is just there because they paid up, or if the result that you got is there because it's the most popular result, which is the way a search engine's really supposed to work. And we've gotten a little less hard on Google lately. I mean, you know, are you ungoogleable? But in any case, perhaps check out DuckDuckGo.com as an alternative to the Google Junkware search engine, as it will not store your personal information. It won't follow you around with ads. And it won't even follow you around in out of private browsing mode, because it doesn't want to waste space on its servers, tracking you and making itself work worse, because a search engine does you a disservice. If it's steering your search results, the more intelligent and the more varied your interests are, the more of a disservice it will do to you. So perhaps check out DuckDuckGo.com to get objective search results. And for goodness sakes, please stop using Google as a verb and as a search engine, because it sucks. Let's talk about Broadcastify. Have you wondered if your local police scanners are available on the internet? Well, they probably are. Just go to Broadcastify, click on Listen. You can even broadcast your own scanner, but just click on Listen. And for instance, if you're in Maine and you want to know what's going on around Portland, just check out the scanners around Portland, and you can figure out what the police and EMS are doing, especially if you know the codes. But anyway, Broadcastify.com does not pay me to say this. I just prefer to inform our viewers that it is another option, as if you are viewing this video, you are most likely seeing it on the internet, and thanks for doing so. By the way, some of our communication grids are hardened, which is a good thing for disaster relief. Let's talk about economies a little bit. As those of you who are not familiar with my past are probably not aware, and thanks new viewers, you're probably not aware that I was a day trader in around 1999 through 2001 or so, and I was a tech specialist during the tech bubble, and we talk about economics regularly on the channel as it's related to the rest of the content. So view our previous videos, perhaps, as we do economic reports regularly. And we just wanted to use this as a preface to suggest that if you haven't tried cryptocurrency investing, perhaps try it. As we let the world market scroll, as well as some headlines, we see oil is at a very low level, as we're expecting a global slowdown, thanks to all kinds of bad economic indicators, like global food shortages. But in any case, if you're interested in trying crypto investing, perhaps visit the links below this video to create yourself a free Coinbase account. You get a free account, you'll automatically get $10 in crypto just for joining up. There are all kinds of options to earn more crypto just by learning about different forms of cryptocurrency. And while I don't view cryptocurrency as a particularly good investment, it is as good as any other speculative investment. And there's been a recent uptick in it lately. So while it is volatile, and while I don't believe it has any other intrinsic value despite being a blockchain component to anything like Dutch tulips, I consider Dutch tulips a speculative investment. People lost entire tracts of land as a result of Dutch tulips. And if you're not familiar with that, it's just a speculative investment where people started paying a lot of money for things with no intrinsic value. Yes, I know the blockchain has intrinsic value. I don't believe you. I think it has zero intrinsic value. In fact, I think the blockchain is actually a waste of energy. But in any case, if you want to set up crypto, do it via our links. You'll get 10 free bucks in crypto. Let's talk about Sunni versus Shia. Now, those of you not familiar with what goes on in the Middle East, I'm a little bit more familiar with this kind of stuff since I've been family friends with some Middle Easterners since I was in kindergarten. So I heard a ridiculous story yesterday on Fox News, where Fox News did an article. Fox News had a headline about how Al-Qaeda and Boko Haram and ISIS have not committed any new attacks based on Soleimani's death, which is one of the most ignorant news headlines I've heard in quite a long time, as Soleimani was a Shiite Muslim and Boko Haram and ISIS and Al-Qaeda are all Sunni organizations. So please understand the distinction. Perhaps read this article on the article about why Al-Qaeda and ISIS and other terrorist organizations who are not Shiite will celebrate Soleimani's death, and there will not be further attacks. If you don't know about the distinction between Shia and Sunni, perhaps have a read on differencebetween.com. And basically it all comes down to the succession of Muhammad's religious throne. That's what the argument's about. This article tells you all about where different folks are located. Sunnis are more likely to be in places like Africa, China, Southeast Asia. and Shia are more likely to be in places like Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Bahrain, Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon. So for some reason they decided not to list Saudi Arabia as a Sunni Arab country, a Sunni Muslim country. But hey, what can you do? We left links to all of it. Enjoy. If you don't understand the distinction, we're not pleased about various Western nations getting involved in this battle over the succession of Muhammad's religious throne. I think it's stupid and a waste of resources on all sides. And also, it's kind of similar to Catholicism versus Protestantism, as people have been blowing themselves up and each other over that for quite a while as well. Centuries. Let's talk about Starfleet Command and the United Federation of Planets. It's in the news because of the Space Force. So fortunately, now that President Trump has brought peace to the Earth, he's going to bring peace to the solar system and then indeed the galaxy via the U.S. Space Force. And if you're wondering why it looks so much like the UFP symbol, it does have to do with the fact that it used to look awfully like Air Force. It does look awfully like Air Force Space Command. So we used to have an organization called Air Force Space Command, which is now probably part of the U.S. Space Force. And according to John Noonan, that's why it looks so similarly. Don't freak out. It's not an homage to Star Trek. Although Air Force Space Command may be. Hey, Smash Team, thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for a bonus segment, or possibly two. Have you been to smashomash.com/forum yet? Well, we picked up a SciTech Daily article today about why eating yogurt may help lessen the risk of breast cancer. It all has to do with the way the bacteria work inside your body, folks. And a sound argument could be made in a lot of ways that you are indeed made of bacteria. So perhaps read the article, as apparently eating yogurt affects your microbiome. And your microbiome is, well, if you've got breasts, and everybody has them, and men can get breast cancer. Okay, let's just leave it there and check out smashomash.com/forums. If you weren't aware of this, the article just came out today, so you probably weren't. Have a read. We've hosted it here, as well as links. And we are out, Smash Team. Thanks for tuning in to the That Is an Ass and That Is a Hole in the Ground section, the vulgarity-free section, where we talk about whatever we want. And remember, since it'll never be now again, may that ass and that hole in the ground understand the distinction between each other.